Hello everyone. This time I'll just try and cover in short terms a very large vehicle which I hope can even fit to be seen on the camera I have here. So this is a fright fighter vehicle, the vehicle of the evil warriors in Skeletor in particular. It looks like some kind of a mixture of an insect with a helicopter, so kind of a contraption in between the two. It's a pretty big vehicle, as you can tell. I can hold it down here because it has a sort of a handgun handle to it, and it has this stand that's made with the huge turbines that also give it some leverage, and it has these enormous insect-like wings which are used for obviously for this contraption to fly. It has a satellite dish at the back here. The only thing missing from here is an actual laser gun that's supposed to go at the front. It comes with a laser gun on the side here and another same one on the other side, but it broke off, so I need a bit of time to fix that. It will just need to be glued back in place and hopefully it will work. And he has these enormous clam champ style pincers at the front here. So there is a trigger. I'll try and show it over here on the handle. So when you press that trigger, the vehicle will move its wings up and down, and it will give the simulation that it's flying. And there is another little switch right at the front over here where my finger is. When you press that one, the vehicle will snatch another figure right at the front here and hold it prisoner and then practically fly away with it. So that's what's so neat about it, because it has two features: the flying wings plus the clamp catcher. I'll try and use Fisto here as an example of what I'm talking about, as long as it works. Let's try. So he will grab his victim like so and then fly away with it and just drop him somewhere, stuff like that. So there you go, that's the feature of the vehicle, or at least one of the features. The other one being the flying wings. Now, another part that's interesting about this vehicle is that it has the cockpit that you can open and put your bad guy inside, and you can flip it open all the way, the hatch all the way to the back like so. And in here you can tell I stored Faker instead of Skeletor this time. And he does have this gun, which is the one that I showed earlier that broke off, that should be right on the side here, but I just need to fix that. So until then I'm actually storing it inside the cockpit. And I'll also show you when the figure did not come with the vehicle, because the vehicle was sold without any figures. But this is practically the cockpit area, enough for one figure to settle nicely inside. And it doesn't have any levers or anything, but it does have a sticker that shows the flying commands and buttons and a small radar and things like that. So this vehicle was made by Skeletor to counteract He-Man's flying vehicles that he uses. And this vehicle was never shown inside the in the Filmation cartoon series. However, it was shown in some of the comics of the time period, especially in some of the He-Man comics released by Marvel Star Comics. So it also, according to the comic book, it also has a feature to cloak itself and become invisible, so that the enemy cannot spot it right away or even detect it with a radar. So that's another thing that at least it's shown in the comics. And usually Skeletor is the one to write it, but as I said, any of the figures from the vintage mask, most of them can fit, specifically the bad guys. I wouldn't say that the Twistoid can fit because he doesn't really have legs, but even he could probably fit, but he would maybe just look awkward inside. Now, another thing I should mention regarding this vehicle is that, as I said, it was shown in several comics, but it did not make any appearances in the 2000 cartoon series, and it has not been shown in the Masters of the Universe Classics storyline. There may be a possibility that it might show up in the future, meaning in the Classics line, if it becomes ever released. Now you might be wondering, can the Classics figures fit into the vintage vehicles? I can say that as far as this vehicle goes, the figures are a little bit too tall for the cockpit. So even if you could, let's say, I tried to fit Skeletor Classics 1 into the cockpit. He does fit, but his legs have to be bent in the knees. Now the only problem is he would fit in that way, but the problem begins with the fact that you couldn't close the cockpit hatch over him due to his size and the fact that the head is getting in the way. So the figure could fit inside the cockpit, but the hatch cannot be closed over it. So that is the problem. Now there are some vintage vehicles that can be used with the Classics, but not many. I will say that straight away, not many. In one of the future videos I will just try and show you what I mean by that, meaning which ones can fit or which ones could be compatible with the Classics figures, which I managed to deduce from some of my experimentation. Since I have Classics figures and I have many of the vehicles from the vintage line, so I've been trying to see which ones fit and which ones don't. But more about that in another video. So this is the Fright Fighter, and that would be my mini coverage of the vehicle. It's a very good vehicle, but also it's a very difficult vehicle to find. And usually it's not so easy, as I said, not so easy to find. I'm not sure why. I thought it was a rather common vehicle for that time, but I guess it isn't. And that's about it as far as it goes. I would like to use this chance to thank you guys for watching and following me on my channel here. I will try and bring you more interesting videos in the future about other vintage He-Man items I have, and also once the vintage items discussion is finished, then I'll just do my best to cover a 2000X He-Man and Classics He-Man figures as well. Also, there will be other videos in regards to other toy lines, but only in its due time. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys later. Bye.